The idea for the Gold Rush came into being one Sunday in October 1923, when Chaplin was visiting his friends Douglas Fairbanks and Mary Pickford.
You know, he found that story at Pickfair. Yes, I gave Douglas one of these stereoscopic cards, you know. They were three-dimensional. Douglas had a whole library of them, and he stayed the whole afternoon, and that is where, what was called the Klondike, what was it called?
Oh, the Gold Rush.
The Gold Rush.
In the great Gold Rush, Alaska was the hope and dream of wave-worn men, the ruthless siren of the far north, beckoning thousands to her icy bosom, beckoning thousands to her unknown regions. The Chilkoot Pass was the great barrier to the goldfields. Over this pass, men faced untold misery and hardship. Many lost their lives. Some fell exhausted the wayside. Others lost courage and turned back. But the brave went on.
Chaplin had started filming in the studio in February 1924, but he decided to film the opening scenes on location in the Sierra Nevada, near to the very place where George Donner's immigrants had had their tragic adventure. Like that early convoy, Chaplin came up against the mountain with its snow, wind, and icy cold. For the scene, they dug a 700-meter-long path at an altitude of 3,300 meters along a natural formation known as the Sugar Bowl. On 10th April 1924, 600 people, mostly tramps recruited in Sacramento, the nearest town, climbed up the famous snowy pass in front of Chaplin's cameras. The group also comprised members of the film crew who weren't busy, and the film's leading actress, Lita Grey.
A lot of snow, very deep snow, and we all had very heavy fur coats and 2 or 3 thicknesses of clothing, and it was cold. And there again, many retakes. We thought we'd never get off that location.
3 years earlier, in The Kid, Lita Grey had played an angel in the unforgettable dream scene. She returned to her normal life, but the experience had left its mark.
I went back to school after I finished The Kid contract. And I was bragging to Myrna about having worked for Charlie, what a marvelous man he was, and so forth and so on. And she was intrigued. She wanted to meet him. So I said, well, we'd go to the studio and watch him work one day, which we did. And as soon as Charlie came out to greet us, he said, you're just in time, because I've been testing brunettes for a part in the Gold Rush, this film that I'm going to make. So he did another film test on me and decided that I would be right for the part.
It very quickly became clear that the continuous blizzards, freezing cold, and impossibility of getting even snow cover were hampering the shooting. It was decided to return to the studio and shoot the rest of the Sierra scenes there. So Chaplin moved his whole team back to Los Angeles. On 2nd May 1924, everyone was back at the studio, ready to start filming again. During the 2 months that followed, while Chaplin was reworking the script and the gags, the set designers were ingeniously recreating Alaska in the heat of the California summer. Miles of planks and hundreds of yards of barbed wire were used for this. 200 tons of plaster and 100 barrels of flour were needed to recreate the ice and snow. The hardware bill shows that hundreds of pickaxes and spades, tons of steel and cement, 400 kilos of nails, and 3,000 bolts were used in the construction of the set. Then Lita Grey got pregnant by her director. Chaplin married her and had to find a new actress for his heroine. She was Georgia Hale.